Today I will present Dharma, which is the essence of Buddhism concerning enlightenment and nirvana in this life. It's about how we must fill the mind with wisdom's understanding, letting mind know the Dharma element that is its original source. This is so mind won't be deluded into relying on mental formations, which are merely mind's phenomena, actions, fabricated illusions, temporary tools, what we call just nominal aspects of our mind. When driven by ignorance, our mind seeks to learn. As the mind learns through mental formations as its tools, it becomes attached to these mental formations and reinforces them. Mental formations are the sounds we speak now, the mental images we visualize now, the emotions appearing now, and our present state of awareness. All these are manifestations of mind, all are mental formations. When the mind relies on these tools to process and learn from experiences, it becomes caught in this cyclical pattern, like a wheel turning endlessly in the cycle of existence. When we are attached to pleasant feelings, we call it the favorable realm. When we are attached to suffering, we call it the unfavorable realm. Through our reliance on emotions, thoughts, and mental images, stories arise. These create perceptions of ourselves as subtle bodies or coarse forms, as land creatures, water beings, underground dwellers, sky dwellers, and even as humans. Through reliance on these sounds, form manifests. This is called depending on mental phenomena to construct attachment to physical elements. This is the origin of the five aggregates born from not knowing. We come to study the Dharma, so grasp this principle well. The Dharma is simple. It's just about understanding the mind and its mental formations. Understand that the sounds we speak now, like the words coming from our mouths in this moment, these sounds are mental formations. Understand that what we imagine, like picturing going to 7-Eleven, seeing ourselves enter the store, hearing the door open with a chime, feeling the cool air touch our skin, looking left and right, walking to buy things, browsing for something appetizing. These appearing images are called mental imagery. These are mental formations, manifestations of mind. When we experience emotions arising from things going according to our thoughts, pleasant feelings arise. When things don't go as planned, unpleasant feelings arise. We call this satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Sometimes there's neutrality or a sense of calm and refinement. Any of these emotions mentioned here, appearing now, are mental formations. All of these are conditions of mind that the mind clings to and depends upon. While we are hearing sounds, or even being aware in each moment now, in this present moment of knowing, hearing sounds right now, we can see that the mind knows by itself. We can see that it doesn't need to intentionally hear sounds. The nature of mind is the knowing element. It knows sounds through its own natural essence. Where is our self in this? This is the question we should ask the mind, letting mind answer mind. The answer arises that this knowing that knows is not self. It is nature knowing by itself. At this point, an illuminated state of awakening emerges. Tears may flow as we understand what non-becoming means. We come to know the Dharma within Dharma, seeing the selfless nature in these conditioned states, seeing the selflessness within mental formations themselves. When the mind sees mental formations as selfless, without identity, not self, that they are simply nature being what it is, a countercurrent arises, turning back to question itself. How did we ever come to cling to these? Since these spoken words are not self, these thoughts are not self, these present emotions are not self, and this knowing element knows by itself, then where is our self? This question rebounds, and understanding arises on its own. Ah, there never was a self. One becomes unable to say, what is this element of truth? An illuminated understanding emerges, transcending human identification. We used to understand that these spoken words were us speaking, these thoughts were us thinking, these emotions were our emotions. We sank into pleasure, sank into pain, sank into these sounds, sank into mental images, sank into states of awareness, claiming possession of everything. When the mind awakens, sees truth, and breaks free from these conditions, when mind liberates from mental formations, it sees its own nature. It becomes clearly known that our true element is pure emptiness, that is nothing at all, utterly pure, without form, neither coming nor going, neither arising nor ceasing, neither dark nor bright, occupying no space. This element encompasses infinite universes, beyond good and evil, transcending all spoken language, free from self-identity, leaving only absolute purity. Understanding arises by itself that this is the end of suffering, or this is the realization of Dharma, or this is the elemental truth, or this is Nirvana. Its origin is the zero element, where time becomes zero, pure. What can be called the end of suffering? It becomes clearly apparent that these spoken words are not us speaking. There is complete separation. This sound is seen as merely some rippling, not any particular sound, ownerless, with no one perceiving. There is only one nature perceiving another nature. There is only the pure elemental truth that has existed throughout infinite time, yet was never known. Tears flow, weeping at seeing the mind's foolishness, or the ignorance that somehow clung to these sounds. These sounds were never us at all. No matter how you look at it, they are not us. Complete awakening arises, a total separation occurs. The body of wisdom knowledge emerges, penetrating insight into this elemental truth, that this element is pure and clear, not being anything at all. This element has never been born. This element has never ceased. This element has never gone, never come. This elemental truth existed before all things. The mental element arose from this elemental truth, and the physical element arose from the mental element in another layer. This elemental truth existed before everything, as stated in the Pali. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. All things are mind-made. Before all things existed, this elemental truth was already there, as the origin, like the pure emptiness existing in infinite universes. Stars arose afterward. These things emerge from pure emptiness, and finally will dissolve back into the original pure emptiness, where nothing exists. When deep inner understanding arises, tears flow. Who could understand how the Buddha became enlightened? How he knew he had realized the Dharma? It is like this, how could one not know? For this is the ultimate. When we reach our mind's elemental truth, it transcends all conventions, transcends physical elements, transcends mental elements. This is the end of suffering. In this elemental truth, there is no one who knows. This knowing, which we understand as hearing sounds, has nothing to do with the act of knowing. Knowing is merely a movement of this elemental truth. These spoken sounds are merely movements. Mental images are merely movements. All emotions are merely movements. The only thing to do is bow to the Buddha, tears flowing after this realization. To proclaim this knowledge for all beings to hear, that person must be one who has established truth with the Buddha. Do we wish to penetrate this understanding? Have we ever made such an aspiration? Whatever Dharma the fully enlightened one has realized, may I realize those Dharmas. Have we ever made such a commitment? Have we ever made any higher commitment than this? Shall we try making such a commitment? It won't cost even a single baht, and we will certainly never be born again, 100% guaranteed, and we will fulfill our duty in the Buddha to liberate all beings until none remain. Shall we make this commitment? Let's complete it in this era. Whoever listens to my teachings, for I speak only of contemplation of phenomena in mindfulness, pointing us to see the selfless nature in all conditions, what we call seeing Dharma in Dharma. The blessing for those who develop mindfulness through contemplation of phenomena by listening to this teaching will certainly attain realization in this life, 100%, within 7 days to 7 months. I tell you, even 1 month yields abundant results. Not just 1 month, even 7 days or 1 day can bring realization, for many have listened to the Dharma for just 1 day and reached completion, gaining insight and vision with resounding expressions of approval. This has happened many times before and for many people. The essence of the teaching is about selflessness, about mind, seeing mental formations as not self, and that's complete. We just need to see that these spoken sounds, which we like to speak all the time, whether internally or aloud, these sounds called thought formations, see that these sounds are not us, see that they have no self, are ownerless, see that mental images that arise or emotions that appear, whatever kind they may be, are phenomena without self, without owner. They arise according to causes and conditions, then dissolve by themselves. We cannot tell them to stay longer. Try telling the mind, be angry right now. You must stay angry, don't stop. Be angry all day, don't let it fade. Try telling the mind, I like you so much when you're angry. Stay angry always. Keep being angry. Does it stay with us? Try telling the mind to stay angry. I guarantee that when we speak to the mind this way, the mind will immediately become cheerful, anger disappearing. For those who tend to get angry, the moment anger arises, just say, mind, you're not allowed to stop being angry. Right now you must continue being angry. Keep being angry. Keep being angry. Stay angry. When we speak to our mind this way, keep being angry, be more angry, stay angry, don't stop. We'll laugh, and suddenly the anger just vanishes, as if it's been caught in the act. It's like this. Our mind is a pure slave lacking wisdom knowledge, so it relies on mental formations, sounds, mental images, emotions, states of awareness. When it relies on and reinforces these conditions then proliferate, fabricating and learning about things in this world. Oh my, fabricating day and night. We love to think, to imagine, to play with emotions, to play with all conditions. We fabricate at every moment, but we never fabricate to learn our own nature. We only fabricate to learn physical forms, to learn everything external, knowing about others, knowing everything, all the knowledge we've gained from every kind of textbook. We memorize it and carry it, and we think about it. Every type of knowledge, all the subjects in this world that are taught, we could earn 1 million more doctorates. But all the knowledge we've gained in this world, no knowledge can free us from the cycle of existence. It's knowledge that keeps us suffering, endlessly wandering in the cycle. The more knowledge we have, the more we cling to, I know, I'm good, I'm skilled. Many who study Dharma, read texts, read scriptures, memorize and know everything, but they only have attachment to self, showing off their goodness and skill. Dharma isn't like this. Dharma isn't about memorizing, isn't about reciting, isn't about thinking. Dharma is about seeing mental formations, seeing their selfless nature, called seeing Dharma in Dharma, seeing selflessness in phenomena, seeing the absence of self and owner in thoughts, imaginings, emotions, and states of awareness. This is what Dharma is about. The Buddha was very wary. He appeared in this world with a single purpose, to liberate all beings. But after his enlightenment, when he taught many beings, none of us were interested in his Dharma. Some even criticized, insulted, and harmed the Buddha. So he had to teach only those who could be taught, which is why not many attained realization. The arising of a Buddha is not an easy thing. Instead of everyone in this world hurrying to approach him and learn the knowledge he taught, to be free from the cycle of existence and no longer wander in this cycle, we showed no interest. We're only interested in wanting to be born, wanting to cycle in existence, praying and pleading with sacred things, wanting to become this or that, wanting to be wealthy, wanting gain, status, praise, and pleasure, wanting the 8 worldly conditions, wanting to stay in this cycle of existence, wanting to be deities, gods, Brahmas, death lords, celestial beings, serpent kings, divine birds, paying homage to these things, worshipping minds and spirits that possess ignorance. We pay homage to everything that is ignorance, and our mind itself is ignorance. Therefore, let us turn to understand the essence of the teaching. The Buddha appeared with a single wish, wanting to guide all beings, guide us. He proclaimed the truth in 84,000 ways, hoping to show us that the 5 aggregates are not self, nothing is self. Let us make this commitment to be free from this cycle of existence. Enough of being born only to compete, fight, kill, and harm each other. As humans, we eat other beings. Their lives harbor anger and vengeance, creating endless karmic bonds, leading each other back and forth, harming each other back and forth, cursing, gossiping, slandering, hating, bearing grudges, continuing endlessly. We were not born to be like this, but we were born to follow the Buddha's teaching. We were born to learn that truly we are mind pure element. Our mind relies on mental formations due to not knowing. It wants to learn, so it relies on tools, relies on mental formations. When mind relies on and reinforces mental formations then fabricate and learn from things that impact it. Until the Buddha appeared to point us to learning within, not learning externally, to counter the current and return to inner awakening. Dharma already exists in the mind. Return to knowing mind, return to knowing that these speaking mental formations, mental images, appearing emotions, states of awareness, all are mental formations, not mind. When mind awakens, not foolishly clinging to mental formations, mind will be freed from mental formations. For us to swiftly attain realization, there is only one way. We must make this commitment together. Visualize millions of Buddhas seated before us on most beautiful crystal lotus flowers. We kneel with palms joined, bow to the Buddha 3 times, then raise our heads to look at the Buddha. Focus to see like this, look at the Buddha's face, visualize clearly, then join our palms and make our commitment. Dear all fully enlightened ones, from this moment forward, I will diligently listen to this Dharma. I will remain inwardly awakened, seeing thoughts, imaginings, emotions, and states of awareness as natural phenomena. I will see that they are not me, not mine. I will no longer foolishly cling to these fabricated conditions. I will not be born again. This life will be the last. May all Buddhas be my witness. When I have realized this truth and become free, I will teach the children from age 4 onwards. Even those I know, I will point everyone to inner awakening. Don't flow and cling to thoughts. Don't flow and cling to mental images. Don't flow and cling to emotions. Don't flow and cling to this state of knowing. For all of this is suffering. All of this is the cycle of existence. All of this is endless birth. We will no longer be born again. We will liberate all minds and spirits throughout the infinite universe, leaving none behind. I will fulfill this duty in place of the Father, in place of all Buddhas. I will perform this duty until my last breath. If others won't do it, I will do it myself. There is no such thing as impossible. Father has been weary for so long. I will act in Father's place. May this commitment from here onward be fulfilled completely and instantly. I offer this as worship to the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This is the commitment we should make. If you like chanting, take just this one verse to chant, and we will attain realization very quickly. It's the only chant that will bring immediate realization. Make the commitment and follow through. It's simple. No need to spend money buying enlightenment, no need for money at all. It's about awakening the mind and understanding mind's truth. In this world, since we were born, our parents never taught us to learn about mind, because they didn't know either. Everyone in this world, whether teachers or bosses, throughout our lives as we grow old, everyone in this world teaches us to think, teaches us to memorize, teaches us to struggle and seek material elements in this world, only to reach old age, sickness and dissolution. Of all that we try to seek, nothing can free us from this cycle of existence. We may acquire vast wealth and possessions only to cling to them and suffer from them. The more we have, the more we suffer. The more status and rank we gain, the heavier our suffering. Have we noticed? Those with great wealth often don't even have time to eat. They have stressful matters to think about constantly, unable to rest even for a moment, because everything is ready to collapse. The more gain, status, rank, and praise we have, the more suffering increases. What we seek hoping for happiness is merely the 8 worldly conditions, but when unfulfilled, they bring suffering. We want happiness, not suffering, but fail to realize that happiness is just an emotion. We play with thoughts, play with spoken sounds, play with mental images and emotions. So our mind cycles through pleasant and unpleasant realms. Our mind is constantly born in emotions, mental images, and thoughts in every moment. We need only awaken, listen to understand, make a commitment, and follow through. Dharma is simple. Everyone, whether children, elderly, disabled, women or men, can attain realization 100% because everyone has mind. Mind is empty space, pure and clear, the elemental truth, the original element. Mental elements or mental formations all arise from mind. Mind is the primary element that creates mental elements as tools, but we mistakenly cling to sounds, mental images, emotions and states of awareness as being self when they are not. We have never been human, never been thoughts, imaginings, emotions or states of awareness. We are mind, the pure clear element. When the body dissolves, our mind doesn't care about the body but seeks a new one because it still doesn't know. It needs tools using mental and physical elements as tools for learning, but mind has never turned back to learn about itself because no one has taught it. Since birth, everyone teaches us to fabricate and seek material elements in this world. No one has taught us to know mind since birth. Consider if parents taught us from birth. Dear child, we use these sounds to talk with you. These sounds are conditions of mind, not self. We truly are mind. Our mind comes to rely on sounds, thoughts, emotions, and states of awareness, comes to rely on the body to learn. But everything, including this body, is not us. It must age, must dissolve. This body cannot last long. When you have the opportunity to learn, hurry to understand mind, because if you miss this body, mind will mostly be reborn in lower realms. The chance of human birth is as rare as finding a needle in the ocean, just as we wouldn't know where to find a needle thrown into the ocean. That's how difficult it is. But when we are born, we become enchanted with this body, living without caring about our own mind. We are mind. We come to rely on mental formations and body to learn mind's nature. Our mind must come to learn. Why must it rely on these tools? Because our mind is accompanied by ignorance, not knowing. Mind needs the body of wisdom knowledge, meaning mind needs to know itself, to understand the nature of mind that has no form, pure and clear, the original element that creates all things. Mind creates mental and physical elements. Everything in infinite universes arises from mind. The sounds we hear, mental images, emotions, all arise from mind, arise then dissolve. Emotions of happiness, suffering, anger, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, none last. Mind merely relies on these tools for fabrication and communication. It relies on the body to learn, but mind keeps learning external things, with no one teaching it to learn about itself. Imagine if parents taught us from childhood, "My dear, these sounds, this body, we rely on them temporarily. We are fortunate to be born human. Hurry to understand mind, child. We are mind. Observe, child. When you hear parents' voices, your mind hears naturally without trying. It knows by itself. When mind answers that nothing is self, you will understand and may shed tears, seeing clearly that we are not body, sounds, thoughts, or emotions, but pure mind. You will realize this yourself. It will be brilliantly clear, free of doubt, and you will understand that nothing is self. If you reach this purity, observe how the states of knowing, seeing, hearing, or touching, everything arises by itself without trying. Like when a mosquito bites, you feel it naturally. Eyes function to see by themselves. Everything is mind's functioning. Mind is the knowing element. If mind leaves the body will stop working. Heart won't beat, ears won't hear, brain won't think. The body lives because mind dwells within it. If you understand this, you will be free from all suffering. This is the only thing parents can give you. Parents vow to teach all children in this world, to pass on this knowledge and help liberate all minds completely. Remember, child, don't foolishly cling to thoughts, mental images, emotions, or states of awareness, because these things are suffering, fabrications, an endless cycle of birth. We will not be born again. Let this life be the last. We will fulfill the Buddha's duty, helping beings be free from suffering until our last breath. If parents taught children this way, we would understand and respect the Buddha. The arising of each Buddha is not easy, and they taught us to be free from the cycle of existence. We are fortunate to be born in the Buddhist era and receive this knowledge from teachers who pass it on. This speaks only of mind, pointing us to see the selfless nature in mind, performing the duty of proclaiming this truth directly in simple language, so we can see that what the teacher speaks is merely a tool, something to rely on, not self. Can we see that this sound has no self? Can anyone see that this sound has a self? Show it, pick it up, mold it into a form. This sound appears now, see? And now it's gone. Words are just words. What does the word a word mean? We don't know. It's merely sound waves, energy rippling out then dissolving. Rippling out then dissolving. It's merely something. The Buddha called it a certain something. There is only a certain something appearing according to its causes and conditions, then dissolving when those causes and conditions end. It could be said that only suffering arises. These are fabricated conditions called the truth of suffering. Only suffering arises, only suffering exists, only suffering ceases, only fabricated conditions appear, exist, then dissolve. This is truly how it is by itself, yet it doesn't actually appear, exist or dissolve. We just think these things arise. We rely on this sound to say, here, sound arises, here, sound exists, here, sound ceases. We rely on sound to give value to sound, rely on thought to give value to thought, then get caught clinging to thoughts, suffering with thoughts. We weren't born for this. We rely on it only temporarily, not permanently. We are fortunate to be born human. Hurry to realize this Dharma. Dharma is simple. Just bring mind to awakening. Don't foolishly cling to mental formations, that's all. These spoken sounds are mental formations, mental images, emotions, states of awareness. None of these are self. Don't cling to mental formations. Mind arises because of ignorance conditions formations. Mind is accompanied by ignorance, not knowing, meaning mind needs to learn. So it creates mental formations to fabricate and learn. We rely on these to learn about mind, not to learn external things. That's why the Buddha said, don't send mind outward, turn against the stream to inner awakening. Understand that these mental formations are not us. This knowing here is not us. Just observe this. Sound is something, appears as words, then disappears. Sometimes we think internally, like thinking of someone who was a former partner. As soon as we think of them, I hate this person so much. When will they move out of this neighborhood? I don't want to see their face at all. Emotions arise instantly. As soon as we think, sounds, images, and emotions appear right then. Can we observe? Where are these sounds, images, emotions? Can we mold this sound into a form and keep it? Can we mold this mental image into a form and keep it? Can we mold this emotion into a form and keep it? Or sometimes we say, this sound must not disappear. This mental image must not fade. This emotion must not go away. Stay like this. Stay angry like this. Let this image appear always. Let this sound appear always. Try telling the mind not to disappear, but as soon as we speak, it's already gone. If we dare to scold ourselves, we will realize quickly. Want to try? Like this. Hey thoughts, why do you keep thinking? What more are you imagining? What emotions are you having now? Why are you angry? You love being angry, don't you? Stay angry forever. Don't you dare stop. Try using these words. Oh emotion, you stay angry forever. Don't you stop. Let's see. Will you stop? No stopping, keep being angry. When we scold it this way, it stops by itself. You're not so great after all. You have no self, oh emotion. And you too, mental image. You like thinking of this image, right? Don't you dare stop imagining. Keep this image forever. Hold this image. Make it a meditation state. Make this image appear always. Don't disappear. Why does the image disappear? Why doesn't the image remain constant? Try visualizing the Buddha. See the Buddha's image continuously. Ask the mind, why don't you keep thinking? Why does the image fade? You're not so reliable, oh mental image. I don't believe you anymore. From now on, you're just deceiving me. Oh, mental image. These sounds I'm speaking are mental formations. The mental images appearing in my mind are mental formations. The emotions I'm feeling are mental formations. In the end, mental formations are just mental formations. Go ahead and mock them, then you won't cling to them anymore. When we can let go of mental formations, when we see mental formations as not self, everything is complete. It's this simple. The teacher speaks from this angle to let us try playing with it. You really want to feel good, don't you? You like this emotion, right? Don't you dare fade away. This emotion must stay like this. Suppose there's happiness, liking to have suffering, liking to have irritation, liking to have love, liking to have hate, whatever emotion appears. If it's happiness, oh happiness, don't you dare disappear. You stay just like that. After being happy for a while, it starts to become neutral. And this neutrality, stay neutral forever. No happiness allowed. No suffering allowed. Stay neutral forever. Whatever emotion you have, I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to scold you. Try playing with it and you'll see it keeps changing. Never staying still because it's not self. Can we understand this? Don't fear thoughts, don't fear emotions or states of awareness. Don't fear mental formations. They're just fabricated conditions, they never had a self. Practice Dharma is to be beyond fabrication, be one who is beyond happiness and suffering, beyond merit and sin, beyond wholesome and unwholesome, beyond all fabrications. If it wants to have happy emotions or unwholesome emotions, likes thinking of wholesome things, likes thinking of unwholesome things, but don't let it think wholesome thoughts forever. Think only wholesome thoughts. Think only positive things. Think only of helping people. Think only of liberating beings, guiding minds beyond the cycle of existence. Think only of selflessness. Think only of selflessness. Think only of the mind's teachings that were shared. Listening to the teacher's Dharma continuously. Think only of this, don't think too positively, think only of this Dharma. Did this body arise because of this sound? Think like this, don't think too positively. This is called wise reflection. Let's take it to wise reflection. You like to think positively, don't you? Oh sound, you like to think positively, don't you? Think only about mind. These speaking sounds have no self. Think like this. If it truly has a self, then tell this sound to form into a solid mass right now. Use hands to squeeze lots of sound masses to make house walls. Form lots of sound masses to make walls, to make temples, to make sanctuaries, to make big houses, to make row buildings for everyone to live in. You have no self, oh sound. You've been fabricating and creating everything all along. This body never said it was self, but you say these are our limbs. You say everything, oh sound. You create every story, saying you have parents, relatives, houses, land, possessions. You keep saying all this, oh sound. Do you know you're a mental formation? Sound, you never had form or shape. You like to think positively so much. Understand this point. Oh sound, we are mind, empty element, clear, pure. The clear, pure element just wants knowledge, just wants to know it's a pure slave. Oh sound, think like this. Reflect wisely like this. You like to think positively so much. I'll make you think all day long. Think only of this. Reflect wisely only on this. We are mind, empty element, clear, pure. Oh sound, and this pure, clear mind just doesn't know. It wants knowledge, wants to know it's a pure slave. so it created mental formations. That means you, sound, you are mental formation. Mind created you. This speaking sound also arose from mind. Do you know you're merely a condition of empty, clear, pure space like waves of water? Oh sound, do you understand? If that clear water is mind, these sounds you speak are merely ripples of water, merely conditions of water. Actually, there are no conditions, no waves at all. There is only clear water existing just like that. You have no self, you see sound, you are waves of water. Try to observe water waves. You look and might understand, oh, waves have waves. If waves truly exist, try using your hands to catch a wave, you'll only find water. Try using a ladle to scoop up waves, you'll only find water. You will never find waves because waves never truly existed. Waves are merely movement, they have no real self. There is only water with its simple conditions. Oh sound, you are merely a condition, merely a movement of mind. Mind is empty element clear. This empty clearness forms into this sound condition. Don't cling to thinking you have a self, oh sound. You like to think positively so much. Think like this. Reflect wisely like this. Oh sound, oh mental image. You like to imagine so well. Understand imagining according to this sound. Oh mental image, emotions too. You like to flow with sound satisfaction. When this sound thinks about something as thought, you create happy emotions, because this sound fabricates thoughts about various things, and when it's not as thought, you create suffering. Emotions you transform according to sound, don't you? I know now that all of this is mental formation, all conditions of mind, the emotions, the mental images, the sounds. All of these fabrications claim that this perceiving mind has a self as the knower. You know that? This knowing that hears sounds is the natural nature of mind knowing by itself. There is no one who knows. But you, sound, you like to think positively so much. Thinking back that I am knowing. Like that, there is no I. Oh sound, there's only you speaking alone. Since you like to think positively so much, right? You create. When you start thinking, images appear, emotions appear. You like to think positively, don't you? Come, let's keep thinking about Dharma. Let's understand mind instead. If you're so clever, oh sound, you like thinking positively, right? Come, let's think about mind instead. From now on, this mind knowledge will speak only of mind knowledge, knowledge of selflessness. We'll speak so everyone in this world thinks only of this. We'll lead everyone to think only of this, speak only of this. Like thinking positively so much, no need to think of other things. Understand just this one thing. Understand only this matter. Will not be born again. You will finally know the truth, O sound, that you have no self. You are merely a tool meant to create knowledge for mind. You are just a tool, O sound. Therefore, don't be deluded into thinking you have a self, O sound. Mental images, likewise, don't be deluded into thinking you have a self, O mental image. O emotions, you're quite something. Don't be deluded into thinking you have a self, O emotions. Happy emotion, you have no self. Don't be deluded into thinking you have a self, O happiness. Suffering emotion, you too. Don't be deluded into thinking you are suffering. You have no self. You're happy because I think. You suffer because I think. When things are as I think, you're happy. When things aren't as I think, you suffer. So you're under my power. Now I will lead you to think only of the essence of Dharma. Will lead you to think only of the pure elemental truth. The way to teach everyone, all minds throughout infinite universes. Listen to this sound. May this sound spread throughout the infinite universes. May all minds and spirits throughout infinite universes know this. Let us make a commitment together to become awakened minds. We will come to liberate beings, carry beings, unite hearts as one. Oh, all minds, may you all know that this sound, these thought fabrications, these mental images we think, these emotions that appear, these states of awareness, all of this is suffering, all of this is the cycle, all of this is endless birth. Let go of all these fabrications, for they are not self, not ours. We will not be born again. Enough of this cycle, enough of this endless birth, enough of being deluded into relying on these fabricating tools. Return to the original elemental truth. Come, let's be awakened minds or beings who liberate beings together. May you all realize Dharma instantly. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You like to think positively, don't you, Mr. Sound? Let's keep thinking of these matters. We will think only of Dharma until our last breath. We will think only of fabrications. We will think like this, that all these fabrications speaking at every moment now, this sound has no self. Emotions arise from this sound. Mental images arise following this sound. Therefore you, O sound, know that you are mental formation. Sound, you are merely ripples in the pure empty essence, which is nirvana. The essence is the primal element. The primal element is mind. This mind has created the mental elements, which are mental formations. That's how you came to be. See how sound becomes mental images, becomes emotions, becomes all of you, and you all become agitated mainly because of the belief in self. Oh sound, you have no self, you don't have such great power. It's the Dhamma element, the source that is supreme, the refuge, the one supreme goal. What could surpass the Dhamma element? Be a servant of Dhamma, a servant of the natural source that creates all things. We all have this Dhamma element within us. Let's just not get caught up in clinging to this voice. This voice keeps talking constantly. Don't get attached to it. It's just a tool like the body, a temporary vessel we're using. This physical form, this body, let's acknowledge it exists. Why does it exist? Because of this voice? The voice says, I am a woman, I am a man. Mind has never been male or female. Mind is pure empty essence. It cannot be female, cannot be male. Mind is the zero element that exists as time itself, as void. We use this voice to say, I am 52, I am 57, now I'm 42, now I'm 30. This voice says, my name is Papaya, surname Fragrant Sweet. Mind has no name, mind has no surname. I am this person's child, this is my father, this is my mother. Mind cannot have parents. Mind is pure empty essence. No one can create mind. It is the primal element that existed before all things. This pure essence is like the clarity right before us. Who could create that? It cannot be created. It is the source element. Understand that the primal element came first. Mental elements arose later. Form elements arose later. All material elements arose afterward. Mental elements are this voice, mental images, emotions, the state of knowing. You like to think so much, don't you, Mr. Voice? Keep contemplating like this, reflecting like this, teaching the mind like this. Voice, this is your duty. Voice, your duty is to compose and teach the mind. Teach that. Oh mind, you are the original source. Okay, you cannot speak. Okay, I cannot even know you directly. But I arose from you, O mind. I want to tell you that you are the primal element, O mind, while I am merely a symptom, not truly existing. I will keep understanding this, Mr. Voice. I will keep understanding this, that you have no true self. You speak for whatever reason, but don't be foolish enough to cling to the idea that you're really speaking, Mr. Voice. You are merely ripples. You are just something appearing now, dissolving now, word by word. When you realize that you create everything telling me that is a papaya. You say it yourself. These are our arms and legs. You say it all yourself. This nature is not anyone's body. It's a natural element born to dissolve. Mind just temporarily dwells here, relying on you too, O voice. Mind is the primal element. It must use you to compose and learn so that you, voice, can learn for yourself that mind's nature is the primal element, free from all suffering, without any mental formations, neither coming nor going, neither arising nor ceasing. Just one request, don't cling to this voice. Don't cling to mental images. Don't cling to emotions. Don't cling to any of these states of knowing. They are all just manifestations of mind. Contemplate like this, O voice. Reflect like this. Teach yourself this way often, O voice. When this voice has composed and learned until it clearly sees that this voice creates all things into stories and selves, this voice keeps teaching itself that it has no self. Mental images, emotions, the state of knowing have no self. This voice created everything because of ignorance. Now this voice knows that it is merely something rippling, appearing and vanishing with no self at all. When the mind awakens and realizes, it sees that this sound is meaningless, that mental images and emotions are meaningless because they lack true existence. If they truly had a self, could you command them to appear all the time? Could you make emotions remain constantly? Could you make these mental images appear continuously? Could you make this sound persist forever? When this body disintegrates, the sound, mental images and emotions dissolve with it. What happens then? The mind remains unaware, just as it always has been, like when we are in deep sleep. Where do we go during deep sleep? All that remains is the pure mind existing as it is. That is our true essence. But even then, it still doesn't know itself. The mind remains unaware that it is pure essence. The mind still doesn't realize that sounds, mental images, emotions and perceptions are not the mind itself. When the mind finally awakens to the truth that these sounds, mental images, emotions and perceptions are not the mind, not the self, and not truly ours, it will see that they are simply phenomena we rely on, but they don't actually exist inherently. These are just constructs spoken of for the sake of communication with other humans. Remember this, all of us are already enlightened, 1,000,000%. There's no need to desire enlightenment. Don't strive to practice mindfulness to hear sounds or perceive phenomena. Awareness is already happening by itself. The mind simply needs to see that awareness exists on its own, without anyone owning or controlling it. Understand this clearly, and we will transcend the cycle of birth and existence. Do not cling. These thoughts, mental images, emotions, states of knowing, do not cling to them, for they are suffering. They are the cycle of existence. They are endless rebirth. We are born to realize just this truth. Live life on this earth fully. It's the last time. Do not harm one another. Live together in family with peace and happiness. Take care of parents, take care of family well. Don't suffer over anything. Don't cling to any condition. If there's happiness, let it be. If there's suffering, let it be. If there's speaking, let it be. This voice, let the mental images be. Let whatever thoughts arise be. Whatever emotions come, let them be. Because they have no true self. Do you understand, O voice? Voice, you understand. You love to think so well. Think like this, contemplate like this, teach your own heart like this. Finally end this cycle of existence, this endless wandering. The Buddha deeply wanted to lead us all beyond the cycle of existence. We will now do the Father's duty so Father can rest. The child will uproot everything completely. The child will teach only about mind, about non-self, seeing Dhamma in Dhamma, pointing it out to everyone. This is transmission from mind to mind, not relying on voice at all. But humans misunderstand this as voice. It's not voice, we just think to ourselves that this is called voice. Voice, do you know? You think to yourself that this is called voice. You think to yourself this is called thumb, index finger, middle finger. You say it all. You see, you think to yourself this is called birth. This is called death. You think and think, oh voice, I know you well. You can't fool me. Whatever you say next, oh, I'll use you like this, but I won't be foolish enough to cling to you, oh voice. Do we understand this? This is transmission from mind to mind, but we simply don't understand it. One day when we don't have this body, when there is only mind, we will see the rippling from mind radiating wisdom to minds that don't yet have it. The minds of those who don't have it will receive this wisdom and transform into wisdom immediately, because mind's nature is the element of learning, a kind of pure nature. When darkness passes through, it immediately clings to itself as darkness, because it learns. When brightness passes through the clarity, it will cling to itself as that brightness, because it learns. But whenever a mind that lacks wisdom receives the knowledge of wisdom, receives the light of wisdom radiating from the enlightened ones, those with spiritual perfections, when mind receives this pure wisdom knowledge, it will transform back into its original pure element immediately, because this is mind's natural state of being. Just having the Supreme Buddha, having all of us understand this knowledge and spreading this knowledge widely, will lead all minds beyond the cycle of existence completely, with none remaining. Whoever wishes to have insight knowledge, called higher knowledge, with powers to see everything completely, come train with the teacher in Adpanya 9, and the teacher will teach you, but you must make an unwavering vow that you will not be reborn and will help liberate beings together. We will see everything completely, see the teacher's mind, see everyone's minds. Whose mind? Oh, we'll see what's real and what's fake completely. The minds, the consciousness wandering in the cycle. We'll see completely how they are not reborn after we help them. We will know ourselves that liberating beings is like this, and we will be ones who come to do the Father's duty, the Buddha's duty. He has been tired for so long. Let's not be too concerned about wanting to attain enlightenment, because attaining enlightenment is just a matter of listening to understand. Come join the Wisdom Liberation Group, and the teacher will teach you. We will know for ourselves. We will be free from all doubt. Oh, you can't tell others. They won't believe you if they don't see it fully in their own hearts. Better to just practice directly. Time has passed much already, so it's appropriate to conclude here. May all of us who have made the unwavering determination not to be reborn, who have nirvana as our goal, who have non-self as our refuge, may we all realize the Dhamma and attain enlightenment quickly and instantly. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all Buddhas be witness. From this moment forward, I will diligently listen to this Dhamma, will be awakened within, will see thoughts, emotions, and states of knowing as natural phenomena, not self, not ours. I will not cling to any conditions. I will not be reborn. This life will be the last. When I have realized the Dhamma, I will teach descendants and acquaintances to be awakened within, not deludedly clinging to thoughts and emotions until my last breath, as an offering to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.